The traveler stood motionless. The final carving still rested beneath his fingertips. Behind him, the ancient dragon drew another slow breath. Neither of them spoke. The silence stretched between them, broken only by the distant heartbeat of Black Mountain. At last, the dragon lowered its great head. Its golden eyes never left the traveler. "You have read our history." Its voice was unlike anything the traveler had ever heard. It was not carried by air. It flowed through memory itself, as though the mountain had spoken with the voice of ages. The traveler said nothing. He simply listened. The dragon continued. "Now!" The lone ember burning within the council chamber suddenly flared. Its golden light spread across the ancient carvings. The dragons upon the walls seemed to move. The flames carved into the stone flickered. The entire mountain breathed. The dragon's voice became softer, almost mournful. "Hear it from one who lived it." The world dissolved. Stone became light. Darkness became dawn. When the traveler opened his eyes once more, Black Mountain was gone. The sky stretched endlessly above him, blue, clear, untouched by smoke. The wind carried the scent of pine forests and wild rivers instead of ash. Birds filled the heavens. Sunlight shimmered across fields that had never known war. For the first time since dragons had awakened, the traveler saw the world as it had once been, alive. "We remember the first flame. We remember your kingdoms before they had names." The dragon's voice surrounded him, not as narration, as memory. "Before your towers scarred the valleys." The traveler watched as people wandered through the forests in scattered clans. They carried no banners. They wore no crowns. There were no castles upon the hills, no walls dividing one people from another. Only families searching for food beneath an endless sky. Winter, however, was merciless. Snow buried entire valleys. Children huddled beside fires too weak to survive the night. Many never saw another spring. The dragon's voice grew heavy. "You remember yourselves as builders. We remember you as survivors." Then, the heavens opened. At first came only distant shadows. Soon they became wings. Hundreds of dragons crossed the skies in perfect silence. None carried weapons. None breathed fire upon the earth. Each carried something far more precious, a single living ember. The traveler watched as they descended into valley after valley. One dragon knelt before an elderly woman whose family had nearly frozen to death. Another lowered its head before frightened children hiding beneath broken branches. Instead of destruction, they offered warmth. The embers they carried ignited hearths that would burn through the longest winters. Frozen rivers thawed, fields awakened, hope returned. "The first flame was never ours alone," the dragon said. "It belonged to life itself." Years passed before the traveler's eyes. Villages became settlements. Settlements became thriving towns. Dragons remained among them, not above them, beside them. They taught humanity how to shape stone without breaking the mountains, how to forge iron without poisoning the rivers, how to build homes that would endure generations. The traveler saw dragons carrying enormous blocks of stone while human craftsmen guided them into place. Children laughed as young dragons circled overhead. There was no fear, only trust. At the center of the growing civilization rose a city unlike any other. Its towers gleamed beneath the morning sun. Broad bridges connected halls of white stone. Gardens climbed the mountainside. Above it all, the great peak of Black Mountain stood watch. The traveler knew its name before the dragon spoke it. Dragon Throne. It was never built as the seat of an empire. It was built as the home of an oath. Before the gates of the city gathered dragons and humans alike. No armies, no kings demanding obedience, only leaders chosen for their wisdom. Between them burned the first flame. Its light reached every face gathered in silence. The dragon elders stepped forward. The first rulers of mankind met them halfway. Together, they placed their hands toward the sacred fire. Together, they swore the old oath. Neither race would rule the other. Neither would claim the flame. Both would guard it, for themselves, for their children, for every generation yet to come. The traveler felt tears forming in his eyes. "This," he whispered, This was the world we lost. The dragon answered quietly. No. Its voice carried centuries of grief. This was the world you abandoned. Silence returned. The skies above Dragon Throne remained bright. The people laughed. The dragon soared. Peace endured. But far beyond the celebration, the traveler noticed something small, almost impossible to see. Several men lingered behind after the oath had been sworn. They looked not at the people, not at the dragons, only at the first flame. The dragon closed its eyes. Every betrayal begins as a single thought. And every empire, the vision slowly darkened, is born from a promise forgotten.